race fans, and welcome to round 4 of the 2026 IHRA Formula One Powerboat Series. It's the battle on the Colorado here in Marble Falls, Texas, and we're ready to crown some champions. But first, qualifying heat number 1 is going to be 8 minutes plus 2 laps here on the 7/8 mile 4-pin course here on the shores of the Colorado River. And it's a beautiful backdrop for some unbelievable high-octane racing here all weekend long on the Colorado. We're up in the hill country here in Texas, just west of Austin. The breeze is out. You couldn't ask for a more perfect June Saturday here in hill country of Texas. It's dynamic, it's exciting. It is the IHRA Formula One Powerboat Series, and we are very close to coming up on the 1-minute gun. This is Heat 1. Later on today in Formula One, you'll see Heat 2, reverse order of how they finished here in Heat number 1. Forcing that winner here that we're going to find out in just a handful of minutes who that is in Heat 1 is going to have to start last in Heat 2 and drive through the field. Drops the flag there. Great jump. No surprise, Tim, by the 24 of Spencer Love. But boy, look at the 17 of Dylan Anderson. He came out of nowhere.
Gosh. The mid-range.
Wow. Once he got that thing on plane, he just took off and just disappeared into the ether, Tim.
He sure did. The mid-range that he has in that package is unbelievable. It's a kind of a short run to the first turn here. And look who's in second. The starting expert, number 24.
And here comes the 29 of Jared Jensen up the outside. Now this 52 of Rinker stuck down to the inside. He's just hanging on for dear life in this opening lap of this 8-minute plus 2 laps Formula One qualifying heat number 1. Well, look out there. Rinker puts it high coming out of turn numbers 1 and 2. Boy, he's got that thing to the limit, Tim, trying to hold off the 29 of Jensen and somehow track down the 24 of Spencer Love, who had a cracker start going from 6th all the way up to 2nd.
Something happened to the number 13 of Grant Schubert because he was 4th on the starting dock, and he is way back in the field now. He got caught up on that inside in lane 1, going through the dog leg, and just got shut down.
There's the 9 of Fleming. That battle between Rinker and 29 of Jensen as they go down into turn number 3 is starting to heat up. That's for 3rd and 4th. But Jensen only 7 seconds off the lead. Here's the 17 of Dylan Anderson now gets by the 99 of Travis Yates. There's the 52 of Rinker. They're coming off of turn 4. Down the front stretch, they're going to go through the chicane. Is he going to shut the door on him? Boy, and that's what's going to kill Jensen right there. He had a good run and just got washed down by the 52 of Chris Rinker through that chicane on the front stretch, Tim.
Well, Chris is being smart. So what he's doing is he's leaving him a lane, which he needs to, but he's making him turn so tight that it's scrubbing off all of Jared's corner speed.
Now let's see what happens here. Turns 3 and 4. Now he goes 3, and then he goes tight off of 4.
Jared's going back to the inside again.
He's got to come out there, Tim, you'd think, right? He's got, especially with how tight Rinker went to the pin there off of 4. I expected him to slingshot out to lane 5, little Ricky Bobby type move, and then just run straight and haul all the way down to the pin. But I guess he didn't. Now he's going to have to wind it back up.
He might have to stay to the outside, go through the corner on the inside, and then swing back to the outside when they're exiting.
And just shorten up that crossing of the wake to as short a time and distance as possible by almost 45-degree angle over the wake like that.
That's what I would do, but he's got to take what he can get because they're coming through back markers. Right now, he's on the whitewater of Chris, and his boat doesn't like it.
No, it doesn't, and it is rough here. And now we got that's the 9 of Johnny Fleming still again hanging in 5th.
Right there on the back straightaway, Jared did it that time. Chris is flying it into the wind. Jared went through his rooster tail and got on the outside, and that's going to set him up a little better for this corner down here.
All right, we're going to stay with the 9 of
3 and
Fleming.
4.
Fleming down into 3 now. Whoa, look out there, Rinker. He got wide. Now he moves it to the outside. There's Jensen.
That's what you want.
And I can imagine a part of it is you want to try to pull Rinker away from the buoy, so hopefully at some point you can then dive underneath and make, or at least attempt to make a move coming off one of the turns. But he's finding some ground out there on the outside in that 29 Highland Lake Marine machine.
Best thing that can happen for number 29 is if the number 52 gets up and starts battling with number 24.
Yeah, because they're catching up. The man who's walking away with it right now is Dylan Anderson. You see him cross the start-finish line right there. He's got, boy, he had a 5-second lead. That's got to be probably up to, let's see if we can catch the lap timer as they go by. He baited Rinker out. Rinker moved too far. He dove underneath and just took it from him.
Well, he was using the inside and the outside. So, Chris can only go one way. So as soon as Chris would go to the inside, Jared jumped to the outside. It's very good driving.
I can imagine it's a skill to be able to figure out how to make the driver in front of you feel like he's seeing you in both side mirrors at the same exact time.
Well, my dad always said, you got to know what that driver's going to do in front of you before he knows what he's going to do.
And Love is hanging on now Jensen's trying to track him down. As you can see in frame, here's the 24 of Spencer Love gone out of turn number 3. Then there's the 29 of Jensen. He is closing in on him. We've got 1 minute plus 2 laps remaining here in this first Formula One qualifying heat here. There's the 24 of Love. Jensen is gaining ground, but the question is, Tim, will he have enough time with just 52 seconds plus 2 laps?
I think it's going to be too little too late. It's one thing to catch up to him. It's a totally different thing to pass him.
All right, white flag for our leader. The 17 of Dylan Anderson, that Anderson Marine Machine, he's pushing hard. The 29 of Jared Jensen there's trying to track down the man in second. That's the 24 of Spencer Love as they go down into the final turn on the west end of the course. Here in this final lap of the opening qualifying heat
Jared's
in Formula
getting
One.
right on him. Number 29 versus number 24. But Spencer's got that acceleration off the corner.
He does. There's the 17 of Dylan Anderson, his team, as he's going to sweep it down into turn 3. Nice and easy off of turn 4. He's got a big lead. He's cruising. Ladies and gentlemen, he came off the dock like a rocket, going wire to wire from the opening lap. Your winner of qualifying heat number 1, number 17, Mr. Dylan Anderson.
Spencer hangs on for second.
And what a hard run there by the 29 of Jared Jensen. I think those two are showing the rest of the field, hey guys, we're going to make this a 2-horse race as quickly as we can. Anderson's still got some ground to make up. He's sitting third in points coming into the weekend, so you maybe call it a 3-horse race, but boy, super impressed with what happened here in qualifying heat number 1.
And look, Jeremiah Mayo in the number 8 made up some ground too.
Finishing 6th there after he struggled in fast lap qualifiers. 24 Spencer Love in second. Jared Jensen there with a nice podium. Rinker got to be kicking himself a little bit. Going to have to go back to the drawing board for heat number 2. But hey, nice run there by Johnny Fleming. Starting third, finishing
really good.
5th.
Really good result.
Absolutely. That's got to be some big confidence booster for the driver out of the Woodlands, Texas. Well, we're going to take a quick break here, and we're going to have a word from a few of our sponsors. We'll be right back with the conclusion of the round 4 of the IHRA Formula One Series. Round 4 of the 2026 IHRA Formula One Powerboat Series, the Battle on the Colorado, brought to you by the Marble Falls Area Chamber of Commerce. It's your business, it's your chamber, it's our community. Firefly Aerospace, launch, land, operate in space, anywhere, anytime. The city of Marble Falls, Texas, in the middle of everywhere. United Rentals, work united. Vive Broadband, your hometown connection, and internet you can trust. Mission Golf Cars, the family-owned one-stop shop. Value Bank, my values, my bank. All right, welcome back, race fans. Here to round 4 of the 2026 season here. It's the Battle on the Colorado, Marble Falls, Texas. What a beautiful day it's been. All right, well, we've now got Heat 2 reverse order of finish from qualifying Heat number 1, Tim, up on the screen here. Starting on pole here, he struggled in Heat 1. Can he right the ship here in Heat 2, the 99, to Travis Yates sitting on pole?
Kyle Maskell, those guys have been chasing some gremlins, but it looks like they're on the right path now.
Ooh, long flag, he drops it. Oh no, Yates doesn't fire. Benton does though, along with the 34 of Reno and the 13 of Schubert. And then no surprise, Tim, there comes Maskell as we go overhead. Boy, Maskell gets a great jump out of there out of that second gate. Now he's starting to squeeze down. Is Maskell going to come out in front?
He leaves him room.
He did leave him room. The 13 of Schubert looks like he might pop out of turn number 4. Yes, he does, with Benton on the inside and Maskell side by side, coming wide out through turn number 4, across the start finish line. We're going to go 8 minutes plus 2 laps here in this second qualifying heat to wrap up Saturday's action here at the Battle on the Colorado, round 4 of the IHRA Formula One Powerboat Series.
Wow, did you see how wide Andrew Tate ended up going after he got past the dog leg.
He had to. I mean,
he couldn't keep it on the water.
Right, it's either that or end up on your head.
Yeah.
Made the smart move there as the 13 of Schubert's now running down. But how about this? The 22 of Maskell, then the 29 of Jensen's all the way up into third already. But the 52 of Rinker was at one point in last here in this opening lap. Boy, this kid from Colorado, he's got it figured out here in 2026. The 13 of Grant Schubert's been here before. He knows what to do, but Maskell's got his hands full.
I think Spencer needs to, he's going to be okay right now, because I don't think it's hard for Tate to hold his lane coming through the right-hander.
Yeah, the 17 of Anderson and the 52 of Rinker well back, the bottom third of the running order here in qualifying heat number 2, while we see those top 3 boats really start to pull away. And here in these shorter qualifying heats, you get those little groupings that start to bunch up. And then, in the final, things start to stretch out a lot longer with a significantly longer race. And now here comes the 52 of Rinker. Him and Anderson are doing battles. They go down into turn number 4. But they're battling for like 7th or 8th position. Very surprising considering how fast they were in qualifying.
Rinker and Anderson split Aiden Benton going down the back straightaway.
Yeah, that 98 machine looks like it's still down on power a little bit. He's struggling a little bit out there. Same with the 99 of Travis Yates. We see him go through the dog leg there. But boy, it is Grant Schubert all over the place right now. He is out in front. He is pushing hard. Coming off of turn number 4, there's Maskell. Then there's Jensen. The best thing that Grant Schubert could see was when Jensen started to catch up to Maskell. Hey, you two go fight it out. I'm going to ride off into the sunset here, try to get myself some really good points here in qualifying heat number 2. And just in case I need it, short elapsed time by going so fast here in qualifying heat number 2 is the 13 of Schubert. Oh, look out there. Jared Jensen goes over down in turn number 2. Jared Jensen snap rolls it down the north end of the course, battling with the 22 of Kyle Maskell as he goes over down at the west end of the course. He is still inside the cockpit there. We've got our IHRA rescue team immediately getting on site. We got a red flag on the course. There's the driver, Jensen. Oh no, his helmet came off. I mean, that was a nasty snap roll there for the 29 of Jensen.
He's trying to go inside, and when he does, it pops up and it comes down sideways, pops up again, falls in a hole, and he rolls it over.
And he's just like, he was just skating it on that outside sponson, and once he hit that hole from Maskell, it was over. Here in beautiful Marble Falls, Texas, as they go 2x2 down the front straightaway. You're going to see that jet ski peel off. Once he does, be ready, because then you're looking for that green flag from Chief Referee Doug Ray. And he drops the green flag. Go, 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 go. As the 13 of Schubert, boy, he looked like he absolutely nailed that start, Tim. What a fantastic run by the 13 of Schubert. But Maskell's right on his hip. And here comes the 24 of Spencer Love. Tim, how is it that the 24 Love seems to always nail the start? I guess we all have our skills, and man, is he amazing at getting on the gas when they drop the flag.
Got a great start. Grant got a great start. Took a couple hops once he came around the dog leg. But, yeah, fantastic start for number 13.
Maskell's just glad he hung on, because he was porpoising pretty bad on the start there, but finally got the ship righted enough to stay ahead of the 24 Love for now. But I wouldn't want to be looking in my rearview mirror, seeing the 24 Spencer Love come barreling down on me here in this Formula One qualifying heat, that's for sure.
You're starting to see the number 52, Chris Rinker. He's getting up on the tail of Andrew Tate.
Yeah, and then the Ada Mayo, surprising that the Rinker got around Mayo as easily did. I'm curious to think, I think Jeremiah is just not as comfortable in that 4-stroke and wishes he was in his 2-stroke package in that Ray Bob's machine out here on Saturday's qualifying.
Well, either that or he just got a bad start.
Yeah, it could be that as well.
Rinker and Tate came together, leaving 4 out of there. Did you see that?
No, I missed that. Here as we go overhead with them, now they go through the dog leg. Tate staying on the outside. Notice they're giving themselves a healthy amount of room as they go down into turn 1 here. But boy, it's getting rough down there.
You couldn't have got a piece of paper between them earlier.
Well, they kept them both on the water, and that's really all that matters. As the wind it picks up even more, it's going to keep getting rougher. And boy, the 13 of Grant Schubert just does not seem to be phased. Oh no, Aiden Benton goes down Aiden Benton is out here in qualifying heat number 2. He's down there in between 3 and 4. Boy, the motor issues continue for the driver out of Ontario as he is stuck down there between 3 and 4. The rescue team's going to grab him. And boy, the battle, holy cow, what happened to Chris Rinker in qualifying heat 1 that has changed so much here in heat 2? He's already up to 4th position. He has left the rest of those 4 strokes in the dust, and he is all over the 24 of Spencer Love.
You're seeing exactly what we thought was going to happen, though. The top 4 guys are getting to the dog leg, and they're all setting the boat for a second, and then they're picking it back up. They're not trying to...
They want to control that wind under the tunnel after they get through the dog leg. And
that's right. They're all setting it for a second and then going back at it. So that is helping them. And the guys with the 4 strokes are having a little bit harder time. They can't fly through the dog leg.
Yeah, and now you're going to see from overhead, he's going down there to the northeast end of the course, west end of the course, in turn 1. Makes that a 1-pin turn. Then that's the 22 of Maskell. Then there's the 24 of Love, who's in 3rd. I got to say, I'm impressed that the 22 of Maskell has been able to pull away a little bit from Love. I don't know if that's because Love's looking at that giant bright yellow blob ripping behind him and closing the gap, or if Maskell's just finally had enough of a motor working that he's really getting into a groove and finally getting comfortable here in 2026.
Well, they found some wires that were frayed and shorting out on the carbon, and it seems like that on Maskell's boat. So that really seems like it's made a difference.
Boy, there's one thing that you didn't have to worry about for the longest time, carbon affecting the electricals on your boat. But when that moved from Okumi over to the carbon fiber and composites, that's a whole other thing that you've got to deal with here in these Formula One boats. Is any wiring or any electricals touching any carbon at all is going to wreak havoc inside your Formula One.
That's right, but we're winding down. White flag. Grant Schubert, look, all he's got to do is just keep clicking off the laps. One more to bring home a victory for number 13.
All right, and we're going to stay with the 13 of Schubert. He goes the west end of the course now out of turns 1 and 2. Boy, it's bouncing all over. I mean, he's as stable as anybody on the course, and he is bouncing all over the place as the wind continues to pick up as we roll through. There's an overhead of the 9 of Johnny Fleming. He's trying to just hang on for dear life out there as those 4 strokes. And that heavy motor package on the back of the Formula One is just wreaking havoc on the driver, making it very difficult to drive. But the man who's had no problem all heat 2 comes out of turn number 4, now walks it across the start-finish line. Ladies and gentlemen, taking the win in qualifying heat number 2, number 13, Mr. Grant Schubert.
Captain Marks, number 13, looked awesome in that second heat. And the wind continues to pick up, and it's just making all these boats harder to drive.
Number 2 over the 22 of Kyle Maskell. Good to see Maskell finally get things figured out. That's what we expect out of that driver out of Chilliwack, British Columbia, running for Accent Granite, and good to see him up there near the top. We're going to send things down to Pam, as I believe she might be with the 29 of Jared Jensen. Pam, take it away.
I have to tell you, I want to hear what you just went through out there and just endured.
We got a good start. Boat was fast, and we were trying to catch Kyle in front of me. He was fast, and I just stuck it in a hole down in turn 1 and flipped it over. So sucks, but we'll dry it out and hopefully be running tomorrow. So.
Well, you're okay. That's all that matters. I mean, running in that number 2 position for heat number 2. But again, you're all good. The boat's leaking a lot of water here, but you got to go do a rundown on it.
Yeah, we'll try to dry it out and see if we can't get back on the water tomorrow. So it's unfortunate, but happens. So we'll see if we can't finish the weekend off. So.
Well, you're okay again. Like I just said, that's all that matters. And racing happens sometimes, but hopefully we see you out here on the water tomorrow. So, time to go to work.
Yep. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Well, we're going to take a quick break, so we'll be right back with more racing action in the conclusion of Formula One Powerboat Series here at the Battle on the Colorado. Round 4 of the 2026 IHRA Formula One Powerboat Series, the Battle on the Colorado, brought to you by the Marble Falls Area Chamber of Commerce. It's your business, it's your chamber, it's our community. Firefly Aerospace, launch, land, operate in space, anywhere, anytime. The city of Marble Falls, Texas, in the middle of everywhere. United Rentals, work united. Five Broadband, your hometown connection, and internet you can trust. Mission Golf Cars, the family-owned one-stop shop. Value Bank, my values, my bank. All right, race fans, welcome back here as we take a look at the third and final qualifying heat here on the IHRA Formula 1 Powerboat Series. Let's take a look at our grid lineup here for qualifying heat number 3. On the pole, the man from Ontario, Canada, the number 98 of Aiden Benton, suffered some motor issues yesterday, got the backup motor on. Hopefully he can get out there and give it a run here in heat number 3. He drops the flag, and they come taking off. Nice jump there by Maskell and the 52 of Rinker. Aiden Benton gets a jump. Oh no, Travis Yates doesn't fire, neither does the 13 of Grant Schubert. Boy, they give them they got a lot of ground to make up there to the 17 of Anderson and the 24 of Love as they go down into turns 3 and 4. Oh no, looks like we had a couple of boats go way wide to the outside there.
Way wide on the outside.
Boy, did we get a couple of boats get together there down in turns 3 and 4? They stayed.
Hopefully we can get a replay of that and see.
Yeah, it looks like something's going on with the 14 of Andrew Tate and the 22 of Kyle Maskell. Looks like they may have got
hole
together.
In the right side.
Yeah,
it
looks like
the transom of Tate's boat.
The 98 of Aiden Benton, though, he's out in front now being chased by the 29 of Jared Jensen. Can the driver from Somerstown, Ontario, hang on to his first heat win here on the IHRA Formula 1 Powerboat Series in 2026? Oh, it looks like so it looks like Maskell and the 14 of Tate had to have gotten together down there, and that's got to be frustrating for the 14 of Tate.
Reno's running good in third spot with Johnny Fleming coming up on the outside. Johnny's trying to float it through the dog leg. He's on his outside hip now. Jeremiah Mayo right behind him.
Man, it shows you what that clean water can do here as the wind picks up. The 98 of Aiden Benton just got shot out of a rocket. He is gone right now. Got about a third of a straightaway lead over the 29 of Jensen. And boy, the 9 of Fleming, he's been fighting, battling with the 34 Reno. Now here comes the 8 of Jeremiah Mayo as they're almost 3 abreast coming out of turn number 4. The 9 of Fleming on the outside, the 34 of Reno on the inside, the 8 of Mayo trying to split the difference as they go through the dog leg.
They all set it on the dog leg there. And I like where Johnny Fleming is right now. Turn 1 and 2, a little rough down there. They can't just throw it in there like they normally do.
Here we go in the race leader, the 98 Aiden Benton, that River Sports Recreation machine. And he is pushing it hard down the back straightaway. 98 on the side. Somertown, Ontario, Canada's where he calls home. Making his way down into turn number 3, now off 3, going tight off of 4. Liking that tighter line in the 2-stroke package, Tim, trying to go short way around the course. And there's the 29 of Jared Jensen, that Highland Lake Marine machine, trying to find a way to close the gap here in the final 2.5 minutes, plus 2 laps here in this Formula 1 final qualifying heat.
They've got, Jared's making a little bit of headway, but it's slow.
And then we got the 34 of Jeff Reno. He's sitting there hanging on to third, and he looks back and sees that bright white orange trimmed Ray Bob's machine. There's the 34 of Jeff Reno running for strippers, things made of strips, pushing it hard. Boy, we got a battle behind him with the 24 of Love now finally getting a run out of turn number 2. There's the 8 of Mayo now. He's sitting in 4th position, trying to find a way to get by the 34 of Jeff Reno as they come through the dog leg down the front stretch.
Spencer
the 98. Oh no, 98 of Aiden Benton pulls off the course.
Oh no.
And looks like more motor troubles continue. Look at him. You get him bashing the dash there. He's got to be so frustrated, unstrapped. And our new leader is the 29 of Jared Jensen, the man from Highland Lake Marine, racing out of Windsor, Colorado. Hey, sometimes you just got to be there to finish the race. You don't necessarily have to be out front as long as you can finish. And with 1 minute and 16 seconds left now, he's just trying to hang on, Tim.
It's better to be lucky than good. You know, luck wins, good doesn't. And Jared just inherited the lead. All he's got to do is click off some laps. The other thing that will really make a difference is if the number 8 of Jeremiah Mayo can get around Reno.
Yeah, because those guys were really close in points because, again, he got points because he started both heats, but he finished way back after barrel rolling in heat number 2. So Jared Jensen knew he needed a lot of points, but he also might need just a little bit of help.
That's right. You know, the number 8 boat was right up on the 34 boat 2 laps ago, and now Reno's pulled out a little bit again.
Oh, there's the 9 of Johnny Fleming there. He's trying to hang on to 5th position as the 17 of Dylan Anderson tries to hunt him down. Boy, Spencer Love once he got up by the 52 of Chris Rinker, he really started to pull away. There's the white flag. White flag out, go fast, turn left just one more time. So the driver from Colorado, can he hang on to this inherited lead in the 3rd and final qualifying heat? Collects valuable points, move himself up a handful of spots on the starting grid for our main event later today.
You just can't make up any time right now in 1 and 2.
No.
You just, the water and the wind, it's just, everybody's got to be cautious up there. And some of them they're probably saving it for the final.
Yeah, absolutely, especially as we get into these late stages. But it comes out of turn number 4. Ladies and gentlemen, your winner in qualifying heat number 3, running for Island Lake Marine out of Windsor, Colorado, number 29, Mr. Jared Jensen. There's the 29 of Jensen out front. Reno, solid run, just 5 seconds back. But boy, Jeremiah Mayo was really tracking there at the end, Tim.
He was pushing them the whole way. And Johnny Fleming just kind of settled into his groove. 4th place, excellent finish.
Well, we'll be coming back right here with more racing at the IHRA Round 4 from Marble Falls, Texas. Round 4 of the 2026 IHRA Formula 1 Powerboat Series, the Battle on the Colorado, brought to you by the Marble Falls Area Chamber of Commerce. It's your business, it's your chamber, it's our community. Firefly Aerospace, launch, land, operate in space, anywhere, anytime. The city of Marble Falls, Texas, in the middle of everywhere. United Rentals, work united. Vive Broadband, your hometown connection, and internet you can trust. Mission Golf Cars, the family-owned one-stop shop. Value Bank, my values, my bank. All right, welcome back, race fans, here for the finals for the IHRA Formula 1 Powerboat Series. One final race on the weekend to put a bow on it in the Formula 1 class. Yeah, the 24 of Spencer Love finds himself on pole position here for the Formula 1 final. What a run it has been here in 2026. I would say he's back in form, but he's got the likes of Dylan Anderson, Jared Jensen, 52 of Chris Rinker, all right behind him stacked up. You see there Jensen. How about Jensen barrel rolling in heat 2, but does well enough in heats 1 and
Jensen
3.
And Love get great starts.
That looks like, oh boy, Love has got it absolutely trimmed out to the moon, because some good mid-range there trying to catch the 29 of Jensen as they try to hold clear. Everybody comes through clear off turns 3 and 4.
Leave them room. Look at on the outside, Dylan Anderson. Excellent start from what, fifth position?
Yeah, he was the last boat in the first gate there, Tim, and he's all the way up fighting for 2nd position as him and Jensen are going at it coming out of turn 2.
I didn't even see 52 of Chris Rinker on the inside because they were so piled up.
Oh, and look at him pull the top end as the 17 of Anderson and the 52 of Rinker just blowing by the 29 of Jensen, who's in that 3rd motor, so maybe just not quite as dialed on the top end as that 3rd motor. And boy, the 52 of Rinker and the 17 Anderson get by him coming down the back straightaway.
Number 24, Spencer Love, fantastic start. He got out front, which is what he wanted to do. Now he'll try and control the race. But guess what? 17 behind you. The fastest 2 qualifiers are behind you.
Yeah, so you got to watch out. He knows the rough water is probably going to pull a little bit away from that top end speed, but that doesn't mean he doesn't need to run a flawless race out in front. It's good to see the 24 of Spencer Love, that Firefly Aerospace machine, back out leading more races here in 2026. Could be this the year that he gets back on top of the series championship, his first fight for it since 2022 when he last was the series champion in F1.
Well, he's running good right now. He's controlling the race. The race is really behind him, okay? So 17, Dylan Anderson, Chris Rinker. You're going to see these guys bunch up a little bit, but then you've got teammates Jeremiah Mayo and Grant Schubert going head-to-head back there on the back straightaway.
Right there fighting for 5th and 6th. Then 7th is Maskell, 8th, the 9 of Fleming, 9th, the 34 of Reno. Then it's the 90-98s and the 98 of Aiden Menn, who got that motor back together but I don't know if it's running at full capacity. He's out here just trying to collect some points and finish the weekend on a high note.
You know, the 22 of Kyle Maskell out there, I didn't think he was going to be able to make the final. His steering broke in that collision with Tate.
Yeah, and that's the one driver that is still on the trailer. We do not see the 14 of Andrew Tate. His weekend is done after that collision with the 22 of Maskell. Boy, it's been a rough couple of races for the number 14 boat, hasn't it, Tim?
It has. They just, they're struggling. I talked to them last night with the balance on the boat, and they can't just figure out what they need to do.
Yeah,
so right now they're a little lost.
I talked to him this morning. He's like, we'll go out and do stuff by ourselves in testing, and it'll work. But the problem is you're not going to get near those same conditions when you're out there racing. And when they try to make that translation, that's where things really start to struggle for that Phenom Ventures team.
It does. I have unfortunately done that 1,000 times.
You just got to keep back, keep at the grind, keep fighting. That's what the 8 of Jeremiah Mayo is doing right now as he's sitting in 6th, but they're all trying to catch the man out in front right there on screen now. The 24 of Spencer Love running for Firefly Aerospace as he's pushing it hard. Down the front stretch, really started to open up a nice lead. Tim, I think we're in that kind of lull period where we're going to see those gaps grow over the top 3 boats. But once we get into those back markers, we'll see those things shrink up. And boy, I have a feeling the last 5-6 laps of this Formula One final going to be a doozy.
So Jeremiah Mayo is trying to run an outside line up this front straightaway and on the back straightaway. So I think he's got a little bit of speed on Jared in the 29, but Jared's got the inside line.
Yeah, they're battling hard for 4th place. You can see there, yeah, Jensen on the inside, and boy, he's good job there, Jensen. He made him cross his way by going back out to the outside. That's what he's going to have to do for the rest of the race to keep the 8 of Jeremiah Mayo at bay.
I think if Jeremiah in the number 8 boat stays on his outside hip, that's how he's going to get around him. Don't try and cross over his wake back and forth. Just stay on his outside hip. You got a little speed, just wait. Be patient.
You got to squeeze that gap inch by inch over the remaining laps. You can't expect to get big chunks of it back, but little by little, if you can reel them in, you give that opportunity with a few laps left. That's all you can ask for.
That's right. But guess what? If he waits too long, number 13, his teammate of Grant Schubert, is going to come up in the Captain Mark's machine, and he's going to show him how to do it.
Well, and I think that's because Grant knows, hey guys, I would have been way higher on the starting grid if I would have just fired in qualifying heat number 3. He got a DNS, 0 points in heat 3. That's what started him way far back on the start pontoon. I have a feeling this final could look a little bit different. So you know that kid from Richmond, Texas is going to be pushing it to the limit.
Spencer's running a conservative line. He's going up lane 1 or 2. He's setting it at the bend buoy of the dog leg. And he's just not taking any chances because guess what? He doesn't have to.
No, he's built up a good lead as he gets by the 98 of Aiden Benton. It puts him a lap down, especially as he gets through these back markers. He knows that maybe the extra top end that Anderson and Rinker had in fast lap qualifiers on this race course, that doesn't exist anymore.
Today, exactly. Right now, that doesn't exist. Look at Dylan Anderson in second in the number 17 boat. He wasn't running it that flat all weekend, and that scrubs off a lot of speed. Yeah,
it does. I have a feeling if we opened up the hatches on either sponson in the front nose of those Formula Ones, you'd see some extra weight put in those noses to try to keep those boats flatter here on this rough water on the Colorado River. But boy, that battle for 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th is continuing to push as the 8 of Jeremiah Mayo is still trying to hunt down the driver from Colorado sitting in 4th, the 29 of Jared Jensen.
Well, this is a good race for 4th. Jared Jensen, Jeremiah Mayo in the 8, Grant Schubert in the 13, and Kyle Maskell is climbing. He's clawing his way into that.
Yeah, and there's the 13 of Schubert. Looks like, his lid is coming open on the 13 Captain Marks. The Grant Schubert does not have that latch snapped down. I don't know if that's going to cause a break in concentration as that thing's banging around out there because, yeah, you can definitely see, Tim, the 22 of Maskell is starting to close the gap on the 13 of Schubert. Not too bad considering, just like Schubert, he was way back on the dock because he couldn't get the steering running after that wreck with the 14 of Andrew Tate in the final qualifying heat.
You're starting to see number 52, Chris Rinker.
He's making up ground.
He's making some ground up on number 17, Dylan Anderson.
Oh, look at him go down to the inside. No, decides to go over the wake and now goes wide to the outside. There you see overhead the 52 a Rinker. Yeah, that battle for fourth. 8 a Mayo and the 13 a Schubert starting to get into the conversation. Jared Jensen holding them at bay for now. I would imagine for Jensen in his third motor, it's like, listen, hey, don't be too risky. Let's just get some good points, get to Alton, get our number one motor back. We'll send them back to Ron Anderson to get refreshed here between rounds 4 and rounds 5. But boy, I give the kid a lot of credit. It's hard, especially for young drivers, to wreck like he did yesterday, barrel roll, and come back out and still push it to the limit. Well, all right, we're going to be right back with more racing here after a word from our sponsors at round 4 on the IHRA Series. Round 4 of the 2026 IHRA Formula One Powerboat Series, the Battle on the Colorado, brought to you by the Marble Falls Area Chamber of Commerce. It's your business, it's your chamber, it's our community. Firefly Aerospace, launch, land, operate in space, anywhere, anytime. The city of Marble Falls, Texas, in the middle of everywhere. United Rentals, work united. Vive Broadband, your hometown connection, and internet you can trust. Mission Golf Cars, the family-owned one-stop shop. Value Bank, my values, my bank. All right, race fans, welcome back here as we take a look as they come off a 3 and 4. Mayo goes down into the spray, but there's the 13 of Schubert. He's right on Mayo's tail. So we got a 3-boat battle for the final spot on the podium. But then we look back, the 17 of Anderson and the 52 of Rinker. They're slugging it out for the winner, for the lead here in the battle on the Colorado in Formula One as they go down the back straightaway. Can the 17 of Dylan Anderson hang on? Boy, the Rinker.
I can't watch all this at once.
It's hard. There's so many battles all over the course. You really got to pick and choose where we're going to focus our time. There's the 13 of Schubert. We're going to go overhead with him as he comes down the front straightaway. Just a handful of boat lengths behind the 8 of Mayo. And there's the 29 of Jensen. Jensen going tight. 13 of Schubert's got to get into the wash as they are doing battle.
And they're coming up on Travis Yates, which is throwing a wrench in it for Jensen. Has to slow down a little bit in the dog leg. Let's see what happens down here.
They go down into the turn. Jensen and Mayo are side by side.
Okay.
That's really all going to depend on what the 99 as Yates does.
Yeah, but he's holding this lane. He's not doing anything wrong. Jensen has a little bit of acceleration on Jeremiah. Jeremiah is able to hold it on in the corners a little bit.
Mayo squeezes him down to the pin. What a great move by the 8 of Jeremiah Mayo. He squeezed Jensen. Jensen had to get off the throttle to turn it tight off the pin, and the 8 of Jeremiah Mayo moves his way up into third.
But he has to go outside of Travis Yates, and that's going to allow Jensen to go back up the inside again.
Oh no, Jensen has to cross back over. Now he's got to watch out because the 13 of Schubert's right on his hip. Now let it go back to the 13 of Schubert's all over him. And they're running now, battling for fourth as Schubert is just pushing it to the limit, coming down the backstretch, 110 miles an hour plus as they go down into turn number 3.
Grant, hey, Jared left him a lane. Grant took it.
He's still leaving him a
coming
lane.
by. Oh, he gets out of shape. Grant is all over it right now, pushing it to the limit.
And he gets by the 29 of Jensen. It's got to be frustrating for a driver who's not had to deal with that a whole lot this year, but having to deal with it here this weekend after a barrel roll in Heat 2 and on his third motor of the weekend. It has not been a kind weekend to the pocketbook of the Island Lake Marine Racing Machine.
These are the fastest laps I've seen Travis Yates run all year.
He's really starting to push it. I think Travis might like the rough water a little bit more than maybe he'll even admit, because that boat's really starting to break loose and run well here in the rough water of the Colorado River.
BACs are made for rough water.
There's the 52 of Chris Rinker. We're going to stay with him for a little while now. He's trying to find a way to get by the 17 of Dylan Anderson. He's our leader right now. Let's see what the gap looks like as they both come out of turns 3 and 4. 2.37 seconds. The 52 of Rinker behind the 17 of Dylan Anderson. As they cross the start-finish line, 4 minutes, 23 seconds, plus 2 laps remaining here in this Formula One final to wrap up racing at round 4 of the IHRA Formula One Powerboat Series. Here's the battle on the Colorado downtown Marble Falls, Texas.
Nice turn by Chris Rinker in 1 and 2. Made up a little bit of room there.
He's going to have perfect turns for this final 4 minutes plus 2 laps, Tim, if he's going to want to catch the 17 of Dylan Anderson.
And there's not a lot of traffic between them and the finish of this race.
Right. We'll have to see what happens as they come off of 3 and 4. Now let's see what that gap is at as they cross the start-finish line. I have a feeling it might be a little shorter. The leader, Dylan Anderson, had a 2.37 second. Now it's down to 1.39 seconds. So
Dylan had a good turn in 1 and 2 that time. Chris didn't make up any room there that time.
No, in fact, it looks like Anderson might have extended his lead by a boat length or so. It doesn't take long. I mean, boy, a split second, you can go from a 5 boat length lead to a guy right on top of you, and it all depending on how you can get in and out of the corners.
You cover a lot of real estate at 120 miles an hour.
Yes, you do. As these guys boogie through the dog leg, I'm surprised the dog leg is really only coming to play on that pass by the 8 of Mayo and the 13 of Schubert on the 29 of Jensen down the front stretch. I thought it was going to be more impactful. It really seems like coming out of 1 and 2 has been where these teams have been able to make up a ton of ground, and that set them up for the making the move down in 3 and 4.
Single pin turn down there, really, even though it's 1 and 2, look, the buoys are almost touching. So that gives you a lot of different options on how to go through that corner.
It really does, and depending on how you choose it, based on where the back markers are at, what the wind and water conditions are like, is all going to depend on how well you get out of that corner. Now Rinker's got to go down to the inside. Now he's crossing over the wake again. That's not what you want for the 52 of Chris Rinker. You do not want to get through the backwash of that big APX 4-stroke on the back of the 17 of Dylan Anderson.
Well, he's trying to take the sharpness of the corner out of it. So you can see him there. He goes past the turn in 3 and 4 to make that one turn.
And also by going so wide, he's taking most of the dog leg out so he doesn't have to set the boat halfway through the front stretch, trying to get him a little bit better straight speed so he can go into the corners with that gap closed a little bit, try to make a move.
Anderson has to park it in 1 and 2 that time. Rinker carried some momentum. They're coming up on Travis Yates, and Yates is running good enough where they're not going to just blow by him.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing when we've seen in other races where those top 3 or 4 boats will pull away and they'll eat through the back 5, 6, 7 boats in the field. Not here today on the rough and tumble waters of the Colorado River. Barely hanging on to the lead lap are most of our drivers, outside of a couple of them like the 98 of Benton and the 9098s. There's the 29 of Jensen. He's just hanging out there in 5th. Really, I think that motor just doesn't have the punch and the get up and go like his top 2 motors did. And so sometimes you just got to accept what's in front of you with 1 minute plus 2 laps left. Hey, he's taking a top 5. It could have been a lot worse because he could have damaged that boat yesterday and been watching from the shore today. So I think he's going to be happy with a top 5 finish if he can hang on here these final few laps.
And I'm sure they have a little bit more of a conservative setup on the engine package and the engine tuning. So Dylan Anderson still looking good out front. Chris Rinker can make small headways, but just really can't get into a position to make a bid for the #1 spot.
But hey, it's a long series.
Here we go.
A long season here in 2026. We see the green flag is out right now. But I suspect here in not too long, we're going to see that green flag go down. White flag is out for the 17 of Dylan Anderson. White flag is out. Final lap for the man from Nashville, Tennessee, running for Anderson Marine. Can he?
Oh, he's way outside this. Chris went up the inside, which was the right move. I just think it's
too little, too late.
Yeah, it's just not going to get him close enough.
As our leader goes down the back straightaway, it was a fantastic battle between them all day. The 17 of Anderson goes down into turn number 3, off 3, slides it out of turn number 4. Ladies and gentlemen, your winner of the Battle of the Colorado here in 2026, running for Anderson Marine, Elite Direct Finance, Low Car Performance, number 17, Dylan Anderson. On the start here, the 24 of Spencer Love, he got a good start, but not as good a start as the 29 of Jared Jensen, but good enough to get out in front early. Boy, we thought
he was rolling. It's been a while since I seen the number 24 have an engine problem.
Yeah, it really has, and he was way out in front. I mean, really in control. Better part of 3/4 of this race, at least that past the halfway point. And he wasn't even pushing it really hard. He was really just trying to find a good race. And unfortunately, the motor went away on him. Sometimes no matter what you do everything right, and the motor just says, hey guy, sorry, it's time for me to go bye-bye. And he had to pull off the race course on the back straightaway. Had to have been frustrating for the 24 of Spencer Love.
Feel bad for the Firefly Aerospace entry, but you know what? He was out front. He was doing everything he was supposed to do. He just, the motor laid down on him. So it'll be interesting. I'm sure we'll see him later on so we can see what's going on. But hey, fans, don't go anywhere. We're going to have a driver's autograph session right up here on the terrace soon as we can get everybody over here, and then we'll do the awards.
Yeah, the 29 of Jared Jensen, he started off early, but it looks like that third motor on the weekend, it's been a rough, expensive weekend for them. He came out and finished in the top 5. The 13 of Grant Schubert, he did a pretty good job and was able to get it back into the top 5. 98 Ben, he had troubles all weekend. Jeremiah Mayo finally figured it out. But boy, once Dylan Anderson got out in front and the 24 Spencer Love had to pull off the course, the 17 of Dylan Anderson just kind of had it, cruise controls him.
Dylan Anderson, our number 1 winner out here for the Formula One this weekend out here at Marble Falls. And man, that was a tough race just now.
Yeah, I mean, those guys definitely don't hand it to anybody. They'll make you work for every single position, and really happy to come up from 4th to 1st. Unfortunately, looked like Spencer broke. That's part of it in this sport. I mean, you just don't always have your stuff stay together the whole time. I have no doubt he'd have stayed that thing out front. He's a pretty good driver, and he's got on a diet in the last couple of years, and he's back up in contention. He's making a hard run at that championship. So hopefully this tightens up the points championship a little bit. Really got to thank my sponsors on this one. Anderson Marine, obviously, for getting us here. Elite Direct Finance for making us afford to be able to get us here. Actually, this weekend, Mission Golf Carts hooked us up. Called on Monday. She said, we don't have any golf carts. Called me back 10 minutes later, unsolicited, said, I found you a golf cart. And they were super great to work with. Gave us golf carts for all of us. I mean, we paid them for it, but still, we appreciate them. C2 Machine, Hoffman Formula One, XS Power Batteries, and Low Car Performance. Couldn't do it without those guys.
Well, and I want to bring back up here, you just mentioned the points for the championship, and you are not too far out of the points running right now. So right now you won a heat this weekend. Now you're number 1 for the weekend. That definitely has to pay off on the points.
Yeah, I'm not a mathematician, so I'll wait till they do the math for me, and I'll look at it and hopefully be really happy, or maybe just be happy that we're right up on Spencer now.
Awesome. Well, congratulations once again. And here we have it, Mr. Anderson right here, our number 1 for the weekend.
Well, this is going to wrap things up here for Marble Falls. Thank you so much. Good night. God bless, and we'll see you in Alton.